Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up.
Beneath the ancient waters of the Euphrates River, scientists have uncovered something they never expected to find. Hidden for thousands of years, a buried temple has emerged from the earth, sealed away from history. What they found inside wasn't just stone and ruins, but evidence of rituals so disturbing they've left researchers shaken. Join us in this video as we reveal the details. This discovery isn't just rewriting ancient history, it's raising chilling questions about what really happened there. The rituals that shocked scientists. Just when the investigation team thought they had reached the heart of the mystery, they uncovered something no one expected. Hidden behind the tablet chamber was a narrow corridor, partially sealed by collapsed debris. Once it was cleared, the passage led to a small circular room barely 3 meters wide, capped by a domed ceiling darkened with ancient burn marks. What made this chamber truly unsettling wasn't just its tight size or its isolation deep underground. It was the walls. Every inch was covered in a continuous mural, unlike anything ever recorded in Mesopotamian history. The images flowed like a storyboard, each scene leading into the next with horrifying detail. The mural showed robed figures wearing masks, barefoot, standing in perfect concentric circles around a bound human figure. Above them hovered a spiral-shaped entity descending from the ceiling itself. One panel appeared to show the victim's soul being pulled upward, siphoned into the spiral, while another depicted the same body being absorbed into a stone idol. The final scene was the most disturbing of all. Villagers kneeling before that statue, their eyes bleeding as they worshipped it. When scientists examined the mural under black light, they found residue of psychotropic compounds embedded in fine grooves along the walls. Tests identified traces of harmful alkaloids, powerful hallucinogens, once used in ancient Persian fire rituals. This suggested the participants weren't simply sacrificing victims, they were deliberately entering altered states of consciousness, possibly to channel something or receive something in return. Burn patterns on the floor added to the dread. The scorch marks matched the exact positioning of the figures shown in the mural, suggesting this chamber wasn't used once, but over and over again. Yet the most disturbing discovery wasn't visual at all. Deep within the wall plaster, researchers extracted trace amounts of unidentifiable proteins. The organic material didn't match any known animal, human, or environmental source. A leaked note from a biochemist stated plainly, "This sample is not human, not animal, and not environmental. It appears lab-grown, but the structure predates known bioengineering." Whispers quickly spread among the team. Some believed the mural depicted a binding ritual meant to fuse an external entity into a physical object. Others suspected the orb found earlier was a receptacle, possibly holding memories or something far more alive. A few scientists refused to enter the chamber again. One senior researcher reportedly fled the site the very same night, claiming he had dreams where the spiral entity from the mural stood over his bed, whispering syllables he couldn't repeat once awake. After the scientists witnessed a scene that shocked them in the temple beneath the Euphrates, what happened next? The signal from below. Roughly 3 weeks after the mural chamber was fully documented, a new kind of disturbance began to surface. This time, it wasn't ancient, it was modern. Engineers managing the excavation's logistics began to notice unusual technical failures. Drones lost control mid-air. GPS devices glitched without warning. Live satellite feeds suffered localized interference directly over the site. At first, the issues were blamed on magnetic minerals in the basalt beneath the temple, but that explanation quickly fell apart. Ground-penetrating radar units, running on completely different systems, began returning impossible readings. Depth scans revealed inverted values, including negative numbers, suggesting that something below was pushing back instead of reflecting signals downward. The interference formed a precise radius, 7 meters from the center of the temple. Even more unsettling, that radius shifted slightly every day, almost as if it were breathing. Military surveillance teams attempted to override the disruption using encrypted frequencies, hoping to map the source. Every attempt failed. The signals collapsed into looping static. Then, analysts noticed something buried inside that noise. A faint but repeating pattern. A signal burst cycling every 6 minutes, structured in prime number pulses. The same mathematical logic once proposed for early deep space communication. That's when the whispers started. Some researchers claimed the signal architecture matched anomalies reported at Göbekli Tepe, the hypogeum of Hal-Saflieni, and even beneath Lake Vostok in Antarctica. Ancient sites long rumored to be connected through a forgotten global language of energy. A troubling theory began to form. The buried temple beneath the Euphrates wasn't isolated. It may have been one node in a vast ancient network, each site sealed thousands of years ago to prevent something called resonance activation. Adding to the unease, a team member working off-site compared symbols from the Forbidden Tablet to fragments of a lost Babylonian astronomical scroll archived in Berlin during the 1940s. He found a matching sequence arranged like a lunar clock, counting down from a date long erased from history. According to the final line, translated quietly by a Sumerologist, "When the river speaks again, the stars will align, and the buried shall rise." Today, the area is completely restricted. Locals report a low humming sound at night. Animals refuse to go near the perimeter. One shepherd even claimed the ground seemed to breathe beneath his feet. The excavation has stopped. Officially, it's for safety reasons. But insiders say the real cause is far more unsettling. Whatever lies beneath the Euphrates is no longer dormant. Let's go back to the very beginning, when the Euphrates River suddenly started drying up. What did it reveal that led scientists to witness the ritual that shocked them? Keep watching to find out. What the dying river revealed. When the Euphrates River began to dry up, most people assumed the biggest concerns would be crops failing or water shortages. No one expected what actually emerged from the retreating mud. It wasn't just broken pottery or the remains of old roads. It was a massive underground temple structure that no one knew existed. Satellite scans first hinted that something was wrong. Beneath the receding water appeared an oddly symmetrical outline, far too precise to be natural. When local archaeologists arrived in early 2022, the discovery stunned the academic world. Large portions of the structure were carved directly into bedrock and sealed beneath engraved stone blocks, older than anything previously found in the region. Some samples dated back to at least 2,800 BCE. This wasn't just another Mesopotamian ruin. The walls were filled with carvings of creatures that didn't belong to standard Sumerian mythology. These figures had elongated limbs, double pupils, and serpent-shaped crowns. According to leaked field notes from a German-led excavation team, several reliefs resembled the Anunnaki, but not as noble gods. These were twisted humanoid forms with exposed ribs and fanged mouths, more monstrous than divine. Local legends made the discovery even more unsettling. Villagers nearby spoke of an old warning passed down for generations. When the river recedes, the eye of the buried one will open again. Many locals refused to go near the site, calling it cursed. Some even claimed their livestock fell ill after drinking from nearby pools. Geologists confirmed the drought had pushed the Euphrates to its weakest flow in over 50 years. As more land was exposed, researchers noticed additional strange depressions in the area, suggesting this temple might not stand alone. It raised a chilling question. Was this structure intentionally buried to keep something locked inside? Some researchers quietly pointed to a darker possibility. The Book of Revelation speaks of 4 angels bound beneath the Euphrates, waiting to be released at the end of days. The timing unsettled even seasoned scholars. Infrared scans added another layer of mystery. Deep inside the structure were intense cold spots, despite the surface baking under extreme heat. This suggested sealed chambers below, untouched for thousands of years. When crews finally reached the inner sanctum, They were unprepared for what they found. The chamber was carved from a black basalt-like stone not native to the region. The walls were unnaturally smooth, reflecting light in strange ways, colder than obsidian. At the center stood an altar-like structure, flanked by two upright pillars with metallic inlays that reacted to magnets, despite appearing to be solid stone. But the materials weren't the most alarming part. The design itself was precise. Mathematical analysis revealed the chamber's dimensions aligned with the Earth's axial precession cycle, a span of roughly 26,000 years. Along one corner, shallow grooves carved into the floor funneled liquid toward a drain. Residue analysis showed high iron levels, consistent with blood. This wasn't a random sacrifice. It looked controlled, repeated, almost mechanical. Archaeologist Dr. Leila Hassani noted the chamber shared acoustic properties with resonance sites like Malta's hypogeum and Egypt's Osirian. Frequency tests showed that tones around the 110 Hz range caused subtle vibrations in the walls, a sound historically linked to trance states and altered consciousness in ancient rituals. On the northern wall, carvings depicted kneeling figures facing a massive horned entity rising from a hole in the earth. Above them was a circular diagram showing eclipses and alignment, but marked with 12-pointed stars, instead of the usual Mesopotamian symbols. Some believe these points refer to an unknown cult, possibly older than the Sumerians, with advanced knowledge of cosmic cycles. Behind the altar, researchers found a small stone orb lodged in a narrow cavity. When removed, it emitted a faint magnetic field, despite having no visible power source. Scientists at the University of Baghdad are still analyzing its composition. One theory suggests it may be a type of geo-locked stone, designed to react to environmental changes, functioning like a buried alarm system. And if that's true, the most terrifying question remains: what was it meant to wake up? But we may never know. The temple was not the only thing found beneath the Euphrates. Stay tuned to find out what else was found. The King Beneath the River. In what many are calling one of the most extraordinary archaeological revelations of modern times, researchers believe they have uncovered the tomb of Gilgamesh, the legendary king of ancient Sumer, buried beneath the Euphrates River itself. The discovery was made possible by a rare and dramatic drop in the river's water levels, exposing areas that had remained hidden for thousands of years. Almost immediately, the find sent shockwaves through the academic world. For centuries, Gilgamesh existed in a strange space between myth and history. He is the central figure of the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known works of literature, where he is portrayed as a powerful ruler, part human and part divine. In the epic, Gilgamesh embarks on a dangerous quest for immortality, encountering gods, monsters, and forces beyond human understanding. Scholars have long debated whether he was purely fictional or based on a real king. This discovery may finally tip the balance. The tomb was revealed in a previously unexplored stretch of the Euphrates as the river dropped to unusually low levels. Archaeologists were stunned by the structure's condition. The stonework was remarkably well preserved, carved with intricate inscriptions and symbolic artwork. Many of the markings closely resemble descriptions found in ancient Sumerian texts, suggesting the tomb was built for a figure of immense importance. Inside, researchers uncovered a collection of artifacts that offered a rare and intimate glimpse into early Sumerian civilization. Ceremonial weapons lay beside ornate jewelry and objects made from precious metals. Murals and faded frescoes lined the inner walls, depicting scenes believed to show moments from Gilgamesh's reign, as well as ritual practices carried out in his honor. These items didn't just signal wealth. They pointed to power, authority, and deep religious significance. The frescoes, in particular, captured the attention of scholars. They appear to show ceremonial gatherings, offerings, and symbolic acts tied to kingship and divine favor. Some researchers believe these images may represent rituals referenced indirectly in the Epic of Gilgamesh, grounding the legendary tales in real cultural practices. The artwork suggests Gilgamesh wasn't just a ruler, but a central figure in Sumer's spiritual and political identity. Many now consider this find one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the century. It doesn't just uncover a tomb, it bridges a gap between myth and history that has puzzled scholars for generations. With physical evidence now emerging, long-held assumptions about Gilgamesh and early Sumerian society are being re-evaluated. The artifacts found inside the tomb suggest Gilgamesh played a significant role in shaping Sumer's religious beliefs and cultural traditions. By studying these objects, scholars are gaining new insight into the rituals, symbols, and fears that may have inspired the epic's themes of immortality, divine punishment, and human limitation. The Tomb of Gilgamesh opens the door to deeper exploration of ancient Mesopotamia, one of humanity's earliest civilizations. As researchers continue to analyze inscriptions and materials from the site, a clearer picture is forming of how Gilgamesh's legend may have evolved from real events into an enduring myth. This discovery doesn't just illuminate the life of a legendary king, it strengthens our understanding of Sumerian society, its politics, its religion, and its relationship with the unknown. The tomb offers a rare and powerful connection to a distant past, where history and myth may have never been separate at all. What exactly do we know about the Euphrates, and how it connects to the prophecy in the Bible? Let's find out. The river written into prophecy. The Euphrates River doesn't just belong to history. According to the Bible, it appears at the very beginning of creation itself. In the book of Genesis, when the Garden of Eden is described, the Euphrates is named as one of the 4 rivers flowing directly from Eden. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there, it was separated into 4 headwaters. The name of the 3rd river is the Tigris, and the 4th river is the Euphrates. Genesis 2:10-14. That detail alone sets the Euphrates apart. This isn't just another river carved by time. In biblical tradition, it is tied to humanity's earliest moments. From the very start, the Euphrates is presented as part of a sacred geography connected to creation itself. Throughout history, the river continued to hold enormous significance. It marked the borders of ancient kingdoms and powerful empires. In Genesis, God even promised Abraham that his descendants would inherit land stretching all the way to the great Euphrates River. This wasn't symbolic language. The Euphrates was treated as a divine boundary, a line drawn by God himself. But the most chilling references to the Euphrates appear in the book of Revelation. In Revelation 16:12, a prophecy describes a moment when the river plays a role in the end of days. The 6th angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. According to this prophecy, the drying of the Euphrates isn't random. It serves a purpose. It prepares the world for events leading toward the final conflict known as Armageddon. Many biblical scholars believe this passage points to a future global confrontation, one made possible when a natural barrier that stood for thousands of years is suddenly removed. For centuries, the Euphrates acted as a defensive boundary, slowing or preventing large-scale invasions. Once the river dries, that protection disappears. Roads open, borders blur, the path is cleared. That is why many Christians view the current state of the Euphrates as more than environmental change. To them, it feels like a warning sign, as if the stage is being set for something far larger. Revelation adds another disturbing layer. In chapter 9, the text describes terrifying beings held back at the Euphrates, restrained until a specific moment in time. Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. It continues, and the 4 angels who had been kept ready for this very hour and day and month and year were released to assassinate a third of mankind. Revelation 9:14-15. This passage speaks of powerful spiritual forces restrained until an appointed hour. For believers, the question becomes unavoidable. If the Euphrates is drying today, are we moving closer to the moment described in prophecy, when ancient scripture, modern drought, and buried structures beneath the river begin to overlap, the implications feel impossible to ignore. For many, the Euphrates is no longer just a river, it is a countdown. So what lessons has the drying up of the Euphrates taught? Keep watching to find out. The warning hidden in the water. There are several powerful lessons that many believers believe we can take from what is happening today. The first is the confirmation of prophecy. For thousands of years, the Bible foretold that the Euphrates River would one day dry up, and now we are witnessing that process unfold in real time. For many, this isn't a coincidence. It is seen as a reminder that God's word does not fail, no matter how much time passes. The second lesson is a sobering one. It reminds us that life on this earth is temporary. The Euphrates was once a mighty river that supported entire civilizations. Now it is shrinking before our eyes. In the same way, the things people place their trust in today, wealth, power, status, and human achievement, will not last forever. History shows that even the greatest empires fade. Only what is done with eternal purpose remains. The third lesson is a call to prepare for eternity. The book of Revelation speaks clearly about judgment, but it also speaks of hope and victory for those who belong to Jesus Christ. The message is not meant to inspire fear alone, but awareness. For those who place their trust in Christ, the future is not something to dread. As the river continues to recede and ancient truths rise to the surface, many believe it is a reminder to reflect on where we stand, not just in history, but in eternity. What are your thoughts about the shocking discoveries beneath the Euphrates? Let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching as we uncovered the shocking secrets beneath the Euphrates. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Before you go, check out the video on your screen for another unbelievable story from the world of the unexplained.